The vanishing scouts. The galaxy had many secrets, but none as strange as Earth dotted first. No one cared about the small blue planet at the edge of a quiet arm of the Milky Way. It looked harmless oceans, forests, cities glowing faintly at night. A world too ordinary, too fragile. The kind of place scouts usually entered, marked, and reported back on within hours. But something was wrong. Every scout sent to Earth had disappeared at the Galactic Council chamber. Voices clashed like thunder. Alien leaders from a dozen species argued, their voices sharp with fear and denial. Holograms of Earth floated above the round table, spinning slowly, innocent and calm. But the reports told another story. A Sithran commander hissed, his skin glowing red. We lost 3 ships. No debris. No distress call. They faded as if swallowed by the void. A cold, insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles. Our scouts lasted longer 20 minutes. They entered orbit, sent images of human cities, then, static, their ship never reappeared. The room darkened as another report played. A shaky transmission flickered across the chamber. The scout's camera showed clouds, mountains, and then a strange distortion of light, like the air itself bent. The pilot's voice screamed in panic. Systems failing, shadows everywhere. The feed cut. Whispers spread through the chamber. Fear crawled like cold wind through the leaders. Perhaps Earth hides a shield technology, one delegate suggested weakly. Or predators beyond our knowledge, another muttered. Or, the Sithran commander growled, perhaps humans themselves are not what they appear. The council silenced at that word. Humans. Few had seen them up close. They were listed as a minor species, late to space travel, bound to their world, fragile, slow. Yet there was something in their history that unsettled even the bravest empire's records from old explorers. Whispers of Earth being a death world, a place where life survived through endless struggle. Still, the council needed proof. A vote was cast. Another scout would be sent. That evening, in a hangar lit by cold light, a small, sleek vessel prepared for launch. Its pilot, Captain Noor of the Velari, was young but proud. He had heard the stories, but he did not believe in ghosts. To him, Earth was just another planet. He told himself this mission would bring him fame. He recorded a message before leaving. To the council, I will find the truth. I will not fade like the others. The hangar doors opened. His ship vanished into the dark. Hours later, the council gathered again, watching the live feed. At first, all seemed calm. Earth appeared below, blue and green, with white clouds swirling across its skies. Cities glimmered like sparks in the dark, harmless. One delegate whispered, but then the ship's sensors began to glitch. Screens flickered, readings twisted, showing impossible results. Mountains appeared where none should exist. Oceans flickered like broken glass. What is this interference? Noor's voice was sharp now. His hands moved fast across the controls. Shields destabilizing, power draining. The council leaned forward. They heard the fear in his voice. And then came the silence. Noor's face appeared one last time. On the screen, his eyes wide, his lips trembling. Behind him, shadows moved across the ship's walls. Shapes with no form, yet heavy, alive. He whispered a single word, run. The transmission cut. The chamber went dark. No one moved. No one spoke. The silence was louder than any battle cry. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt fear, not of war, not of famine, but of a planet that should have been weak. A planet that swallowed scouts whole and gave nothing back. Somewhere, far below, on the surface of Earth, unseen eyes looked up at the sky, watching, waiting. The galaxy had sent its scouts. Earth had taken them, and no one dared follow. The council in fear the word, "Run," echoed through the Galactic Council chamber long after the transmission ended. The delegates sat in silence, their faces pale, their voices stolen. Alien leaders, who once commanded fleets and ruled empires, now shifted nervously in their seats. The image of Earth spun slowly in the center of the chamber, calm and blue, mocking their fear. Finally, the silence broke. "This is impossible," hissed the Sithran. "Commander," his scaled hands tightening on the table. "Scouts vanish without debris, without a trace? No planet holds such power without showing it." An insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles sharply. "We watched with our own eyes. The Velari pilot was taken. The shadows moved inside his ship. Something reached for him." Others leaned forward, whispering, "Perhaps the humans are hiding weapons." "No, I have seen their technology. Primitive, weak. Then what consumes our ships?" The arguments grew louder, voices overlapping. Fear turned into anger, anger into denial. One delegate from the Uran species slammed his fists on the table. "This council wastes time. Earth is a minor world. If it swallows scouts, then burn it down. Send a fleet and erase the threat." Gasps filled the chamber. Erase a planet? Risk our fleets against shadows we don't understand? Are you mad? The Uran leader sneered. "Better to strike than cower. Fear of Earth makes us fools." But another voice rose, old and quiet. It belonged to the Renari elder, whose people had survived wars older than most stars. His eyes were cloudy, his voice soft, but his words: "Silence the hall. You speak of fear as weakness. But fear is wisdom. How many scouts have you lost? 10? 20? Entire empires sent their best, and none returned. Do you truly believe fleets will fare better?" The council froze. The truth was undeniable. Earth was a question with no answer, and answers were dangerous. Still, pride clashed with fear. Votes were whispered, arguments sharpened. Some demanded to strike, others demanded to surrender Earth to silence, to never approach again. Then the Sithran commander rose, his voice a growl. "Cowards! We are the council that rules the stars. If humans hold secrets, then we must know them. Knowledge is power. And if they resist, they will be crushed." The chamber trembled with tension, but no one moved to support him. Instead, whispers spread of older stories, tales buried in forgotten archives. Tales of early explorers who had once visited Earth, long before it joined the galactic map. They spoke of storms that swallowed ships, jungles that killed within hours, predators that stalked hunters in silence. The word repeated again and again: Death World. Perhaps, the Renari elder whispered, Earth does not destroy our scouts. Perhaps Earth consumes them, as it consumes everything that dares enter. The words chilled the chamber. The council broke for the night, but no one slept. Across the galaxy, the stories spread: scouts vanishing, shadows taking them, Earth waiting in silence. Civilizations whispered in markets, in temples, in barracks. Soldiers muttered that they would rather face 1,000 wars than step foot on that planet. And yet, not all shared the fear. In the quiet of a side chamber, one young officer of the Velari stood alone, watching the recordings again. His name was Commander Thale. His jaw tightened as he replayed the final image of Captain Noor, whispering, "Run." Thale's eyes narrowed. "Run? No, I will not run. I will go." He turned, stepping into the shadows. A decision burned in his heart, one that would shake the council. He would go to Earth himself. The human silence Commander Thale's ship slipped into the dark between stars. The council had not given permission. No vote, no mission order. This was his choice alone. He could not ignore the mystery. Scouts had vanished, one by one, and his Friend Captain Nor was among them. Thale would not rest until he found the truth. His vessel was small and silent, built for stealth. It glided through the void, unseen, unheard. Days passed in cold silence until at last Earth appeared before him. It looked harmless. A blue and green sphere, wrapped in white clouds, spinning gently in the black. Oceans glimmered in sunlight, forests stretched across continents, and human cities shone faintly with lines of light. It was beautiful, almost fragile. Too fragile. Thale frowned. This is it? The world that swallows fleets? He drifted closer. Instruments hummed, sensors reaching out across the atmosphere. But something was wrong. No response. No defense grids. No orbital patrols. No warning signals. Even primitive planets usually screamed when a foreign ship entered orbit. But Earth was silent. It simply watched. Thale adjusted his scanners. The readings twisted, shifting between impossible numbers. One moment, the planet seemed empty, no energy at all. The next moment, the scanners detected surges so strong they rivaled stars. He cursed under his breath. This is no malfunction. Then, the shadows began. On his display, dark shapes flickered across the forests, across the cities. They had no form, no heat, no code. They were there for one instant and gone the next. But each time they appeared, Thale's sensors froze, as if afraid. He leaned closer to the screen. What are you? His hands moved quickly, locking onto the largest human city visible below. The towers glowed faintly in the night. Roads stretched like veins, but no transmissions came. No signals of life. And then he felt it. Not with his eyes, not with his sensors, but with something deeper. A pressure, heavy and sharp, pressing against his chest. It was the weight of being watched. Thale turned sharply, scanning his own cockpit. The stars outside flickered, bending, for just a second. And in that second, he swore he saw them eyes. Human eyes, watching him from the void itself. His hands trembled. He blinked, and the stars returned to normal. Nothing but silence again. No, he whispered. They know I'm here. Suddenly, his instruments went dead. Screens turned. Black engines stuttered. His ship drifted powerless above the blue planet. He slammed the controls. Reactivate, reactivate. But nothing answered. Static filled the comms, harsh and broken. Through the noise came whispers, not alien voices, not machine codes, human voices. Thousands of them layered together, speaking in a language he didn't understand, but somehow felt deep inside. The words pulsed like a heartbeat. You should not have come. Thale's blood ran cold. His heart raced as the static grew louder. The whispers pressing against his mind. The shadows on his screen thickened, circling his ship like predators. He gasped as lights flashed across his hull. Not weapons, not fire something else. Something reaching. Systems failing, he muttered, recording a log with shaky hands. I don't know what I'm seeing. They're here, but invisible. Not machines, not weapons. Humans? Shadows? I can't. The log cut into static. Outside, Earth remained calm, beautiful, and silent. But Thale knew. The silence was the trap. The planet did not need to fight. It only needed to watch, to wait, and to take. His ship lurched suddenly, pulled by an unseen force. The engines roared to life, but not under his control. The vessel turned, slowly, steadily, drawn downward into the atmosphere. Clouds filled the screens. The blue sky opened wide. His heart pounded. He was falling, not crashing, but guided, as if the planet itself had taken hold of his ship. He screamed into the comms, his final words desperate. They don't need weapons. Earth is the weapon. The signal reached the council for a single. Heartbeat before vanishing into silence. And far below, unseen on the planet's surface, human eyes looked up through the clouds, waiting for him to arrive. The trap revealed the sky, earned red, as Commander Thale's ship tore through Earth's atmosphere. Clouds whipped past, lightning flashed, and alarms screamed in his ears. His hands fought the dead controls, but nothing answered. The ship was falling, but not like a crash. It felt guided, pulled like invisible hands steering him down. Engines offline. Navigation locked. Thale gasped. Sweat dripped from his brow. His ship had become a coffin. Through the cracked cockpit glass, he saw forests rushing up to meet him. A sea of green stretched endlessly, broken only by mountains in the distance. His heart pounded. He braced for the end. The impact came like thunder. Metal screamed as the ship plowed through trees, tearing Earth apart before skidding to a halt in a shattered clearing. Smoke filled the cockpit. Sparks danced across broken panels. Thale coughed, dragging himself free. His body ached, his uniform torn, but he was alive. Alive and not alone. The forest was too quiet. No animals, no wind, only silence thick as chains. He staggered out of the wreckage, every step heavy with dread. His eyes darted across the trees. Shadows flickered where none should exist. He grabbed his sidearm and shouted, "Who's there?" "Show yourself." No answer. Only the silence watching. Him. Then he noticed something that made his blood run cold. Dozens of wrecks surrounded the clearing. Scout ships. Alien designs from a dozen empires, battered, rusted, overgrown with moss. Ships that should have been missing forever. The Council had been right. Earth didn't destroy scouts in space. It brought them here. It collected them. Hale's hands shook as he touched one of the broken hulls. His mind raced. So this is why they never returned. Behind him, a branch snapped. He spun. Weapon raised. Figures stepped out of the trees. Humans, not soldiers in armor, not officials in robes, just ordinary people, men, women, even a child. Their clothes were simple, their hands empty. But their eyes were sharp, steady, and unafraid. Thale's weapon trembled. "Stay back," he barked. "Don't come closer." The humans did not move. They only watched. Dozens of them now, faces calm, eyes fixed on him as though studying a specimen. The silence was worse than any attack. Then one human stepped forward. A tall man with weathered skin and dark eyes that glimmered with something more than defiant something. Ancient. He raised his hand slowly, not in peace, not in threat, but in command. And in perfect alien tongue, he spoke. "Now you understand why no one returns." Thale's heart froze. The words struck harder than any weapon. How could they know? His language? How could they stand here so calmly, surrounded by wreckage of a dozen empires, as if this was all routine? He backed away, stumbling. His ship's comm unit flickered weakly on his wrist. Static, faint, but alive. If he could get a signal out, he could warn the Council. He turned to run, but the humans moved first. Not fast, not violent. They didn't need to. The forest itself seemed to shift, trees bending, shadows thickening. The air grew heavy, pressing down on him. His body slowed, his legs dragging like stone. The tall man's voice followed, calm and cold. "You step on our world. You are ours. Scouts vanish not because we hunt them. They vanish because Earth does not allow spies to leave." Thale gasped for breath, struggling against the weight. His cum sparked, cutting in and out. He raised it weakly, whispering, "Earth is the trap?" The humans closed in around him. The cum went silent. Above the forest, the night sky remained calm, filled with stars. To the galaxy, nothing seemed wrong. Earth was quiet, harmless, untouched. But in the shadows, Commander Thale disappeared like all the others. Face to face, Commander. Thale could not move. The air itself felt heavy, pressing on his chest like invisible chains. Around him, the humans stood in silence, their faces calm, their eyes sharp. Ordinary clothing, ordinary hands, yet their presence was heavier than an army. One step. Then another dot. The tall man with weathered skin came closer. Behind him, more humans emerged from the shadows. Dozens, maybe hundreds. No weapons, no armor. Just watching. Thale's weapon trembled in his grip. His training screamed. Aim, fire. Escape. But his instincts whispered another truth. It won't matter. Nothing will matter here. Finally, the tall man spoke. His voice was quiet, steady, but it carried the weight of something ancient. You are far from home, Velari. Thale froze. The words were spoken in his own tongue, perfectly clear. His breath caught. How do you know our language? The man tilted his head. We know more than you think. Thale's hand shook. What have you done with the others? The scouts? Where are they? The humans did not answer. Instead, the tall man gestured toward the trees. Slowly, Thale turned his head. There, between roots and rocks, lay fragments of alien armor, rusted weapons, shattered helmets, bones. Thale's stomach twisted. He had seen war before, but this was different. This was not battle. This was silence made into a grave. His knees weakened. You killed them. The tall man's eyes hardened. No, they killed themselves the moment they stepped where they did not belong. The words struck deeper than any weapon. Thale stared. At the crowd of humans, they were not angry. They were not afraid. They were simply certain. A child stepped forward from the group. She could not have been older than 10. She held a small object in her hand, an alien communicator, cracked and silent. She offered it to Thale with calm eyes, as if returning a toy. Thale took it slowly, his hands trembling. The device belonged to one of the missing scouts. The child did not flinch. She simply stepped back, blending into the silent wall of humans again. Thale's voice cracked. Why are you doing this? Why let us come close, only to vanish? What are you protecting? The tall man studied him for a long moment. Before answering, his voice dropped lower, like a whisper carried by the wind. Do you know why the galaxy fears the dark? Thale frowned, his lips parting, but no words came. The man continued, because it does not know what lives there. Earth is that darkness. We are not prey. We are not a world to be catalogued, mapped, or owned. We are the place your kind should never have touched. The silence thickened. Even the forest seemed to lean closer. Thale's comm unit flickered weakly on his wrist. Static. A chance. If he could send even one word, the council might know the truth. His heart pounded as his fingers brushed the signal key. But before he could press it, the tall man's hand closed over his wrist. Not hard, not violent, but firm, unyielding. Choice, the man said. Stay silent forever. Or speak and carry our warning. Thale's mind spun. Was this mercy? Was this a test? He had expected death, but instead they gave him a choice, though both paths felt like traps. His lips parted, a whisper escaping. What happens if I refuse? The man leaned closer. His eyes were cold as stone. Then you will join the others, and you will never leave. The forest around them seemed to breathe, shadows thickening, trees creaking. Thale felt the weight of countless unseen eyes pressing into him. He realized then the humans were not hiding. They were showing him just enough to understand, enough to fear. His hand trembled above the comm. The humans waited, silent, patient, unafraid. Finally, Thale dropped his hand. He could not speak. He could not risk it. The tall man released him. For the first time, his voice softened. Good. Now you understand why no one returns. Thal's heart hammered in his chest. His life was spared, but he knew he had stepped into a prison with no walls. And above the trees, the stars glittered coldly, as if mocking him. To the galaxy, Earth was still harmless. But Thal now knew the truth. Earth did not need ships or weapons. Earth itself was the trap. Humanity's warning commander Thal was led deeper into the forest. The humans moved in silence, walking between the trees as if the land itself belonged to them. No one spoke, no one looked back. Yet Thal felt their eyes on him every moment, sharp and steady. At last, the trees gave way to stone. A hidden entrance yawned open in the ground, carved into the earth like a scar. The humans descended without fear. Thal followed, his heart pounding. The tunnel was long, cold, and dark. Strange lights pulsed along the walls, soft blue, faint but alive. They were not lamps. They were machines, old, alien, yet somehow altered, claimed by human hands. At the end of the tunnel, a vast chamber opened. Thal froze. Dozens of ships lay broken inside. Scout ships, council vessels, even frigates from empires across the galaxy. Some were rusted, some were shattered. Others looked as if they had landed only yesterday. This was where the missing had gone. Thal's breath caught. So many, all this time. A human voice echoed beside him. You see only a fraction. Earth holds the rest. Thal turned. The tall man was there, standing among the wrecks, as though among trophies. His calm eyes studied Thal like a teacher studies a student. Why? Thal whispered. Why hide them? Why not destroy them? The man's lips curved into something between a smile and a grimace. Because destruction teaches nothing. Silence teaches everything. He gestured around. When scouts vanish, fear spreads faster than fire. Fear divides the council. Fear keeps them from sending armies. Fear is our shield. Thal's chest tightened. You use the disappearances as a weapon. The man nodded. Exactly. A war fought in silence is a war already won. Other humans approached, their faces lit by the blue glow. One of them placed a cracked datapad in Thal's hands. He glanced at it, and his stomach turned. It contained logs, hundreds of them, written by scouts before they vanished. Pleas, warnings, screams. One message burned brighter than the rest. Earth is not prey. Earth is the predator. Thal staggered back, his legs weak. If this is true, if the council learns, they will come with fleets. They will come with fire. The tall man's eyes hardened. And they will vanish the same way your scouts did. The chamber fell silent. The humans were not boasting. They were not arrogant. They were certain. Thal shook his head, his voice trembling. But why? Why hide yourselves? Why not join the council? Show your strength. Take your place among the stars. For the first time, the man's expression shifted. His voice dropped low. Because the stars are poisoned. Empires rot. Power consumes itself. Earth is different. We endure not by joining others, but by waiting. Waiting until the galaxy forgets how to fear. He stepped closer, his eyes burning like coals. We do not hide because we fear you. We hide because you should fear us. Thal's breath caught. His mind raced, but no words came. He felt small, smaller than he ever had before. The galaxy's greatest fleets, its oldest empires, none of them carried this weight. Only Earth. The tall man gestured toward him. Now you will return. You will carry our message. You will tell them what you saw. Thal blinked in shock. Return? You would let me leave? The man's expression was unreadable. Not all vanish. some become the warning. The humans turned away, leaving him in the chamber filled with broken ships. The silence pressed against him, heavier than any chain. He understood now. Earth did not fight with weapons. Earth fought with fear. And fear was stronger than fire. As he stumbled back toward the surface, his comm unit flickered alive for a moment. Static buzzed, and then a voice, his own, but distorted, replaying across the signal. Earth is the predator. Thale's eyes widened. The humans were not just letting him leave. They were controlling the message, twisting it, making sure the council heard exactly what they wanted. He looked up at the night sky. The stars glimmered faintly above the forest, cold and distant. He realized then that he was no longer a scout. He was their weapon. The fear spreads. The Galactic Council chamber had not been this crowded in centuries. Every empire sent its highest leaders, every seat filled with fear and curiosity. The air buzzed with whispers. A survivor has returned. Commander Thale stood at the center. His uniform was torn, his skin pale, his eyes hollow from what he had seen. He felt the weight of thousands of eyes pressing down on him. The High Speaker leaned forward. You are the first scout to return from Earth. Tell us, Valari, what did you see? Vale's hands trembled. He remembered the silence, the shadows, the humans' calm faces. He remembered the chamber of Rex. The message burned into his mind. At first, no words came. Then he forced himself to speak. His voice cracked, but the words echoed like thunder. Earth is not prey. Earth is the predator. Gasps spread across the chamber. The words carried a weight that silenced every whisper. The High Speaker narrowed his eyes. Explain. Thale swallowed hard. Scouts do not vanish by chance. They are taken. Earth allows them to enter, and then ensures they never return. They do not destroy us quickly. They let us disappear slowly, quietly, until only fear remains. They do not fight wars. They wage silence. The delegates exchanged uneasy glances. Some laughed nervously, but the sound was hollow. Others shifted in their seats, their eyes full of dread. Thale continued, his voice shaking. I saw there trophy ships from a dozen empires, hidden on their world. I saw ordinary humans stand against me without fear, speaking in our tongue. They knew me before I even spoke. They knew everything. The insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles. Nervously. If this is true, if they are so dangerous, why let you live? Thale's lips trembled. Because I am not alive. I am a warning. The words froze the chamber. For a moment, no one moved. Then chaos erupted. Lies, shouted one delegate. Tricks to keep us away from their resources. No, another whispered. This is worse than war. This is terror made into strategy. They hide because they are weak. They hide because they are strong. The chamber became a storm of fear. Alliances cracked. Accusations flew. Old enemies shouted at each other, terrified of what Earth's silence meant. But above the noise, the Renari elder spoke, his frail voice steady. Do you not see? Earth does not need fleets. They do not need armies. They have already won. They planted fear in every one of us. And now, even here, even now, they are listening. The chamber fell silent. Every leader glanced at the walls, at the ceiling, as if humans might be watching. And deep inside, each of them wondered if they already were. Commander Thale bowed his head. He had spoken the words forced into him, the words Earth wanted carried across the stars. He was free in body, but not in mind. He would never be free again. The High Speaker finally rose. His voice was cold, his decision sharp. No empire will send scouts to Earth again. Not one ship, not one soldier. Earth will remain untouched. No one argued. Not even the bravest dared. The galaxy had seen countless wars, countless tyrants, countless monsters. But never before had it faced an enemy that did not need to fight, not an enemy that let others destroy themselves with fear. That night, across every empire, whispers spread like wildfire. The galaxy's scouts disappeared on Earth, and no one dares follow. And on Earth, beneath silent skies, the humans watched the stars. Ordinary men and women, farmers and workers, soldiers and children. They carried no fleets. They fired no weapons. But in their silence, the galaxy trembled.